Hello and welcome to GG Weekend Watch with myself, Kate Tracey, alongside Dave Young and Andrew Mount to look at to 1 billion races that we have to go at the weekend. We've got jump racing from Wetherby, Ascot, down Royal, of course, as well. And we have the small matter of the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar over the weekend. But the three of us are back on our video meeting because we actually met up in person just 2 days ago on Tuesday to film our National Hunt season preview special show. Now that goes out on Sunday. It actually goes out to subscribers or members first. So make sure to be a member so you get first access to the National Hunt Show preview special, and then the rest of you will get it then on Sunday as well. Now, if you're wondering where I am, by the way, I'm currently at Bodymoor Heath. I'm currently at Aston Villa's training ground in the side room. This is the far less glamorous side of the training ground, just in case you were wondering why the background has changed once again. But lads, we better get stuck in because, as I say, we have so many races to go at. Now, we kickstart at Wetherby with the 1:15 handicap chase, 4-year odds and over 2 mile free and a half furlongs. Lightning Flash it is who heads away here, Andrew, for the Twiston Davises.
Yeah, can we expect Alan McNally to burst through the door at any minute and start telling us to back the John Bonnet Constitution Hill double?
No, I know, what a double to put up with so much conviction as well. No,
Yeah.
thankfully he's not here.
Yeah, we've got a sort of fairly low-key opener, but quite an interesting one. This is a handicap chase over a trip just shy of 2.5 miles. Now, since this race has been going, I think we've had 7 runnings of it. Horses have been off the track for more than 6 weeks and just 1 winner from 34 starts. So that rules out 7 of the 9 runners if you want to go with that stat. Now, Southern Yards do well also. 5 of the 7 winners were Southern Raiders. And you combine those 2 angles together, you get the Nigel Twiston Davis trained Lightning Flash as a standout. Seeking a hat-trick, won at Chepstow last time on the fast ground. And his trainers won this twice previously from just 4 runners. So Lightning Flash, I think, rock solid around about 15 to 8, I can see. And the only other one who qualifies on the recent run angle is an outsider, Pep Talking. Trained in Northamptonshire. Now this one's been in fairly good form since fitted with cheek pieces, 4 runs, first, second and second. So I thought Lightning Flash to win, Pep Talking to chase him home in second for the forecast might be the way to go in the opener.
Oh, a forecast as well in our opener. Ironically named Pep Talking as I sit in Aston Villa's training ground after that 1-0 win over Man City at the weekend. But we won't go there for now, though, Dave. Who took your eye, though? Any forecasts for you?
No forecast for me. I think Andrew's made a good point about the horses that have had the reason he runs. Lightning Flash, it was Chase debut last time out on that quicker ground. Just looked like a horse that's going to progress over fences, and I see no reason why in pretty weak enough field. It's a 0 to 125, but I like to be snobby. There's not the best horses in here. I think Lightning Flash will just be the best one. 15 to 8 top price looks all right. Interested with Andrew's one as well, Pep Talking, just at the time of recording, so just after 2 o'clock Thursday, as short as 8 to 1, but as big as 16 to 1. So see how that one settles in the market. But yeah, hopefully Lightning Flash gets the show off to a good winning start.
Off to a good winning start then with Lightning Flash in that opening contest. So 1:30 is at Ascot. This is a novices limited handicap chase, 4-year odds and over 2 mile free. 9th for the field in this one. No questions asked. It is who heads away for the bends, but we've only got a small field of runners to go at, Dave.
Yeah, this looks like a minefield of a race, despite the fact there's just the 5 runners in it. There's loads of bits like historically. I remember we talked about this race 12 months ago when Baloo won it. Was it Baloo beat Bad?
Yeah.
Maybe Andy gave us the 1-2. And I felt like I made a pretty good case for another horse in the race that obviously didn't come to fruition. But we've got those types of horses, haven't we? We've got Nicky Henderson took it 12 months ago with Baloo. He runs Don't Tell Sue, stable switcher from Paul Nicholls. I don't really know what they're going to be sort of achieving by trying to target this type of race. I think this is a race and just sort of find out type of mission with that horse. I mean, it could have been the same with Baloo last season, couldn't it? But you can make a small case of that one, but not a convincing one, I don't think. Last 4-year-old winner was Nasalam, trained by Gary Moore. They've got Lillian. I think that a couple of, is it 2? Yeah, 2 chase starts this summer over in France. Might have had an extra run before that as well, but very difficult to gauge the ability of that horse in there. But like I say, there's the link with the train around the age in there. Viroflay is again a varying price, 9 to 2 top price, short as 3 to 1. I think we're second at Punchestown in the Fox Hunters there. So this is a weird trip. Paul Nicholls has got a bit of ownership in this horse as well, and his daughter rides. So, I mean, that's as exciting a case I can make for that one, but looks probably a bit short in the market based on form. Old Gregorian as well, and is another horse that's impossible to gauge from chase debut. It was only 2 runners, the only one that completed. Might just be very well handicapped though. Now it's had the run under the belt and off a mark of 123. But Derek Fox would prefer to be elsewhere, so that tempers enthusiasm. Mentioned all of those ones. I haven't even mentioned the favourite yet, but this horse was 3 from 4 under Ben Jones last season, only beaten in the Sydney Bank Memorial Chase at Huntingdon, beaten by Calafé and Vol. That was a bit of a funny race. Calafé and Vol was like outpaced and then stayed on nicely. So either that's a really, really, really good horse, or the horses that got beat by that aren't much. But I think they're all nice horses. That was right-handed. But that's the horse's only defeat going right-handed. He's had 5 other runs aside from that where he's won every single one of them. He's fought it the other way around in more competitive racing, and I think at Cheltenham last time as well, he actually jumped out a little bit to his left. But going this way around looks the key to this horse. I think chasing's going to really suit him. So despite a big long layoff, there's plenty of horses I think that have won this in the past for their first time over fences. The bottom price 6 to 4, no questions asked. When I was writing this, looked a bit tight, but top price 9 to 4 at the time of recording will definitely do for me. So I think it's going to be fab in the first 2 ITV races.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. We know that you'll buck that trend pretty soon. No questions asked. So yeah, and it was Baloo, who we'll see later on the Ascot card, who won this race last year on his own chasing debut as well. Andrew, bit of a minefield, small run of field to go at. So how are you playing it?
Yeah, this is a strange one because you've got no questions asked. Who's 4 runs under rules will come on right-handed tracks, but he jumps markedly out to his left. He certainly did so over hurdles. Got away with it when winning at 5 to 1 on at Hereford for his last success, and then when he went to Cheltenham, he did it again. Jumped out to his left when well beaten. So going over fences for the first time, that left-handed tendency is probably going to be exaggerated and enhance it. So it's one of those ones for in running only. If he sort of like jumps off at a 45-degree angle to his left at the first flight, you've got to worry about his ability to win this, particularly at the shortest price. So then you think, oh, I'll take that one on. But what about the opposition? You start looking down the field and you can't actually find a lot. I mean, Don't Sell Kalsu was 0 from 3 on his seasonal debuts, albeit for another yard. Both wins have come in the spring, so maybe he's one for later on. Then you've got Old Gregorian, who's had 7 goes right-handed, lost every single one of them, which has got to be a worry as well. So Lillian is complete, and that's a guesswork. You haven't got a clue what this one's going to do. First run since leaving France. So I just kept coming back to the Nicholls horse, really. Likes going right-handed, goes from the front. So it's just going to sort of blast off in front and might just stay there. So I'll go for Viroflay or Viroflay, whatever you call it.
Yeah, Viroflay. So a bit of disagreement then amongst the lads with that 130 at Ascot. Apologies, by the way, if there's any surround sound coming from my side. I did say this is currently at Bodymore Heath. I've got the media centre where the press conferences are held that side, and the players' car park's that side, and they're just leaving. And all their really noisy cars, they are just blasting them as they're going past. So apologies. Why are they so loud?
Revving their engines like a bunch of 17-year-olds on a Friday night.
Yeah, so apologies if it's not thunder and lightning, it's just supercars going past. Right, fascinating race though, that 130. The 150 at Wetherby, listed mare's hurdle for the 4-year-olds and over 2 miles. Golden Ace, here she is, she's back out, but she's only got 2 rivals to contend with here, Andrew. Katira and Dysart Enos for this listed mare's hurdle. But as I always say, and as cliched as it is, this is a race you like.
Yeah, well, until I saw the field for this one. Tricky one, isn't it? Because you've got Golden Ace, the best horse in the race, champion hurdle winner, albeit in fortuitous circumstances. Got a great record over hurdles, over trips of 2 miles, 3 furlongs or shorter, 5 wins and a second to State Man in Grade 1 company at Punchestown when we last saw her. She might need the run though. She's a Grade 1 animal running in a listed race after a break. It's sort of limited evidence about the sort of form of the Jeremy Scott yards at the moment, but they seem to be running well without winning. And I did tip one up the other day, which could only finish a modest 3rd of 6 when a 3 to 1 shot. So it might be a case of a bit like last year, they were needing a run. So I'd say Golden Ace will improve for it, and she could be vulnerable first time out, particularly odds of about 2 to 1 on. Katira has twice been beaten at this meeting, including in the 3-mile race for the West Yorkshire Hurdle, when 11:08 on favourite last year. She seems best around about 2.5 miles, so I'd worry about her of this 2-mile trip. So sort of process of elimination, we come to Dysart Enos for Fergal O'Brien, running in a first-time tongue tie. Now, I don't think she's been particularly cleverly campaigned. She very rarely takes on, her own sex. She's had some really tough asks last season. In bumpers and hurdles, she's had 5 goes in Mayor's Only Company, 4 wins and an 8th behind Lossiemouth in Grade 1 Company at the Cheltenham Festival. So I think if the tongue tie works, running against her own sex, she could cause an upset here. I've got 13-2 outsider of 3, and that'll do for me.
Yeah, it's the top price there at 13-2 outsider of 3. That'll cliche in itself. But Dysart Enos, who I've always just had that love-hate relationship with, where I think she's got so much ability, but I just still never feel like we've fully seen that. But I don't know if I'm starting to be deluded. But I mean, David, it's a tricky race to weigh up, let alone to have a bet in.
Absolutely, and putting words in your mouth for your love-hate relationship. Love the horse, hate the way that she's been campaigned, I think is the fair thing to say, because she went into that Greatwood last year. We'd already seen that she's quite a keen horse without a run. She came third in there. She ran really well, didn't she? And I was a bit disappointed with how she was campaigned as a novice, because I don't think she was ever really tested enough to learn that trade to apply it in a handicap. Then even after, they were still running her in handicaps and weird races. When you look at the mare's programme and think there's money to be picked up there and opportunities if horses fall. We saw last year Take No Chances took this race when probably shouldn't have done. That's a sort of running in a 3-mile hurdle this weekend rather than coming back to this. But it's a funny old race, this one, isn't it? Because like Andrew's said, everything about Golden Ace is correct. Possibly a fortunate winner of the champion hurdle, but still she is the reigning champion hurdler and deserves to be the price that she is. Will they care if she gets beat? Well, they probably want to let her win, wouldn't they? But I don't think they would care. They'll have bigger sights down the line. Katira is sort of a middle distance horse, but I don't think they'll really care if she gets beat. She must have other options. It's potentially prize money and just a day out for them. And even Dysart Enos, I mean, this is an opportunity for her to pick up some money and to potentially pick up a half-decent race. But they've had a couple of runs on the flat. They ran her over in Galway in a handicap. I wonder if sending her fresh to the Greatwoods is still wrecking Fergal's head, because I don't think he wanted to do that. And now the horse has had a few prep runs. This looks like another stepping stone, maybe, to go into a Greatwood. Obviously, if the race is here to be won, then she'll probably pick it up, won't she? But I don't think they want to do too much to her mark. So I feel like it's a race where I don't think anyone would care if they got beat, is in all of the horses. So it's a bit of a dangerous one. But Golden Ace is the best horse in the race. She should win this, but I would just completely leave the race alone from a betting perspective. But I guess for a tipping purposes on this, Golden Ace will probably win.
Yeah, we'll probably win, but we always preach to gamble responsibly, and this is probably a perfect example of one of those races. Just sit back, enjoy, take your notes for this season properly, and perhaps don't have a bet in it unless you do really have that strong opinion in it. Right, the 205 at Ascot now. Handicap chase, a premier handicap chase for the 4-year-olds and over to mile 1. Dysart it is who heads away. Martator is back for more in this contest. We've got some of the old boys. Again, loads of characters we know plenty about. So, Dave, this is just a perfect example that jump racing is back.
Absolutely, yeah. Proper race, this one as well. And it's one of those that at the start of each year, you feel a little bit like, as much as there's 13 runners, you should be able to whittle it down, shouldn't you? You think there's some horses that run well this time of year, especially at Ascot over fences. It's a track that you think some horses will particularly run here, maybe run to a higher standard. We've got the last 2 years winners in here as well, but we've also got last year's second, Issair Dairy, who I am immediately drawn to at the prices. Top price 10-1 at the time of recording, as low as 6-1 in places. So even if the price shortened up, I'd still have this horse as the top of my list, I think, at the case of this. £2 out the handicap again this year, was £2 out the handicap in the race 12 months ago, but is £4 better off with Martator. So I think that's probably the most relevant way of looking at it. Ran well first time up the season before this, because obviously a good second last year, but the year before beat Martator. I think that was at Newbury. And although the horse disappointed on multiple occasions after, was well fancied at Cheltenham when got beaten by a better horse, I just think the horse's time to catch him is first time out, and I feel like they've come back, not necessarily for redemption because they got beat last year, but after the spring where they've tried to get a few better performances out of the horse and it just hasn't happened. I think they would have thought over the summer, right, let's just do what we did last year, and that might be enough to go one better. So 4 places up for grabs with just the 13 runners. 10-1 looks massive. Dysart does warrant favouritism. I will say that he's got to be better than a 155 rated chaser. His 2 defeats in spring did come in classier races, and as much as I say as much as it's a handicap to look down on it. It's not that at all. This is a pretty classy race. Like, you've got the likes of Boot Hill, Martator. There's just some very good horses in here. So I like Lodersud. Think he's a good favourite. He could be the horse that just dots up in here, and I was wrong, and he's a stone better than his mark. But I think the horse wants to step up in trip. Although this is 2 mile 1, it is on good ground. That might just catch him out. So Issair Dairy, this is the time to get him. 10 to 1 looks good enough for me.
10 to 1 Issair Dairy for Dave. Andrew, who'd you like?
Yeah, this is really tricky. It's been a good race for hold-up horses. 8 of the last 10 winners of this came from off the pace. It's also been a pretty good one for young horses. 7 of the last 10 were age 7 or younger. Lodersud I did want to be against because I don't think his prominent running style is ideal, particularly in a big field. Martator, as Dave said, won this last year. It's a qualifier on the Richie Williams Chases in November angle, although whether the yards runners will be quite ready to go this early in November, given the dry autumn we've had, remains to be seen. He won this year, as I was saying, and he's 3 from 3 over course and distance. So, you know, obvious despite being slightly older than ideal at the age of 8. Boot Hill is another one who loves his track. He's 3 from 3 in course and distance handicaps. He won this in 2023. General Medrano can make a good case for. He tends to go well in his early starts. Since switched to fences, his first 2 runs each season have produced 3 wins and a second. Sombrew, I could be against. He's a spring horse. He's had 7 runs in for Paul Nicholls from November to February. He's lost them all. A couple of third places in there, but quite a lot of comprehensive defeats as well. And Petit Tonnerre, John Joe's, the John Joes, the O'Neill's runner. Last seen in action at the Punchestown Festival, coming from off the pace to win there. Only a 7-year-old. We know it's a trainer and owner combination that like to have plenty of runners in these sort of handicaps on Saturdays at Ascot. So it was tricky. I'll go Martator, despite being slightly older than ideal, just because of his fantastic record over course and distance.
It really is, isn't it? And the fact that he started last year with the win in this race, and then of course backed it up there afterwards over the 2 mile 1 furlongs as well. So yeah, he's an interesting horse back here, and how he's weighted as well. So Martator 6 to 1 in that Premier Handicap Chase. Onto the 222, back up to Wetherby, the Grade 2 West Yorkshire Hurdle for the 4-year-olds and over 3 miles. Strong leader for that informed combination of Sean Bowen and Ollie Murphy, heads away at 13 to 8 in here. Again, we've got another smaller field to go at, but I guess Andrew is a strong leader. Is he going to pull it out of the bag on this reappearance?
Yeah, he's a spirit level horse. He just needs a flat track, and he's 0 from 5 at Cheltenham. He's 0 from 2 at Ascot. You look at his record elsewhere: 6 wins from 9 starts, profit of £11.52. 2 of those feats were second places in Grade 1 company at Aintree at 14 to 1 and 5 to 1. Another one was a complete blowout at Foss Lass when he finished 10th as a 3 to 1 shot. But he's after running him and getting him beat at Cheltenham again last year, Ollie Murphy was saying we're going to campaign differently this time around. We know flat tracks are important now. We're going to stick to that. So here we are. I imagine it's this race, and then the long distance hurdle at Newbury at the Coral Gold Cup meeting. That will be his next one. I imagine. I suspect he will miss the long walk this time around. So I think he's the obvious one. But as far Potter's Charm, he's sort of taking a chance over the trip, and after the wind up, take no chances as well. I wasn't massively keen on the other one. I thought had a chance. The one I'd want to back without the favourite or in the forecast is Dotty the Great for Nicky Henderson, who goes extremely well when fresh. His racecourse debut, or when rested for 3 months or longer, 5 runs have produced 4 wins and a 5th. That 5th came first time out last term, but that was his one and only start over fences. So he got beaten 21 lengths at Kempton that day, jumped like the proverbial snooker table, and was soon put back over hurdles. So never been beaten over hurdles when fresh. Last seen running a really good 2nd of 23 to Jericho de Repenay at the Punchestown Festival. So also off a 6-month break. Dotty the Great can fight it out with Strong Leader. I'll play the Strong Leader. He's a class act, but I'll certainly be covering on Dotty the Great and doing the forecast.
Okay, and doing another forecast there as well. Also, I'm just loving all of these analogies, or these metaphors about horses with the snooker table and spirit level strong leader. That's a new one on me, Dave, spirit level. So I'm definitely using that going forwards. But who wins?
Yeah, that is a new one to me too. I mean, Andrew's surmised the race really well, I think. It is strong leaders to lose. This is the type of contest that he should be mopping up through the season. Even though Andrew's talked about the long distance hurdle and then Aintree, like they're the 3 races that Ollie Murphy should just train this horse for, run him in them 3 and just hope that he gets the fast ground that he's going to get here to go and get all 3 wins. That said, something's stopping me want to get sort of stuck in a horse like this, because I couldn't really have Potter's Charm. I'll be honest. I mean, 15-8 in there. I know the horse is unexposed, but hasn't really done enough to say that he's better than Strong Leader, especially at this trip. So we'll have to see. Take No Chances. Last season when she ran in the mares version, I wouldn't say the mares version, the 2 mile mares race, I was like, she's got no chance because she needs 3 miles. She wins that, and then she goes and beats Cargasi over 2 miles as well. But she has got back form over 3 miles. But when you look at it now, that was beating Highland and Handicaps when she was rated 121. So you couldn't really say where her best distance is, but obviously the Skeltons would know what it is. So she's where she is in the market because of the fact she won here last year, I think. But I'd be surprised if she won, but I said that 12 months ago. But I've basically put a line through her. Doddy the Great I do like. Andrew's made a good case there for it, sort of as a saver one. But I feel the same as Andrew. Like Strong Leader's the one, but there's something making me want to look for a little bit of cover in here as well. So I think I'll play it similarly to Andrew. Strong Leader would be the main selection, but I'm going to take a small chance on Winter Fog as well for a saver. He's a horse that's won over all kinds of trips as well. So he's like the male version of Take No Chances. 4 fit-up attempts for Emmett Mullins before he joined William Mullins a long time ago now. But if you look at his 2 runs at the back end of last season, I know it was that crazy Champion Erdo. He was 150 to 1 in there, but he got a 153 RPR behind Golden Ace over 2 miles. Then he ran behind Tiapu in Punchtown over 3 and got a 153 RPR as well. He's a bit of a roguey horse, but he has got the ability to just run really well whatever trip he's going at. So if Strong Leader for any reason just has one of his off days, I reckon Winter Fog might be the one to take him on. But I'm the same as Andrew. I think Strong Leader should win this one, but I am looking for a bit of cover, so that tempers enthusiasm quite significantly.
Yeah, a bit of cover then behind, away from Strong Leader, potentially, who should really be winning this well. Right, Winter Fog, he is the funniest horse. He was literally the standout one. I don't know if I told you guys this before, but at the Cheltenham Festival just gone, if there was one standout horse, you thought, who is that acting up? Who is that's acting the big I am? And it was Winter Fog. Every single morning he was giving it socks. So yeah, he's age 11 and he's such a funny, cheeky little wise horse. Is the most diplomatic way I could just word that then. So it's great to see that he still possesses all of that verve for what he does. Right, we move over to Down Royal now. 240 is the Grade 1 Champion Chase 5-year-olds and over 3 miles. Envoy Elen is back for more. 2-1 favourite in this one, Dave. So, I mean, how are you playing this?
I mean, I think I don't want to say it's fairly straightforward because I don't mean that I'm definitely going to know the result, but I think looking at the market, it's fairly straightforward who's the horse to take a chance on in here. Of course, you mentioned Envoy being in here, 2-time winner of the race, isn't he? He is 11 now, though, which is crazy. And I know Rachel Blackmore's sort of retired now, and people might look at that, but I'm pretty sure Darren O'Keefe rode him in the race last year. So same sort of scenario for Envoy Land. And obviously with his age as well and advancing years, at least this is early enough in the season, going fresh, like the old boy might need that. So got his obvious chance, but I don't know, there'll probably be as many people that want to back him at 2-1 as wouldn't want to, and I'm one of those that doesn't want to. Spillane's Tower, I think, needs slower ground, but this is the type of horse that I'll say that about, especially a youngster, that'll get it wrong and he'll just dot up in here, but I wouldn't want to play the horse at the price. I definitely do want to take a chance on Founder 50, though. Think about 11-2 is the top price I can see on the screen at the moment. Be interested to see where this one falls down to, because Gordon Elliott, we know, has these horses fired up for this particular meeting. William Mullins will come into top gear sort of December time, but Gordon Elliott knows he could pick up a lot of prize money this time of year. Jack Kennedy, I think, is going to have a real good season this year. He's had his like sort of niggles and bits, but Founder 50 was a horse that I fancied for an Arkle the year that Gaelic Warrior won it. I know this isn't really a form line for Founder 50, but Gaelic Warrior is a favourite for a King George. The year that Founder 50 was going for his Arkle, they persisted with running him over middle distance trips as well. He got beat by Iron Maximus, I think it was, in the Drimmoor, which at the time looked like terrible form. But Iron Maximus is a national horse, isn't he? And a very good horse in his own right. You look at his other runs around about the middle trip, he won all 3 of them. His stamina is definitely unconfirmed in here, but it's good ground. Gordon Elliott, like I say, will get his horses firing this time of year. So I think he is the one that has got the potential, even on ratings, is the top rated runner in this field, I think. And he's got that potential improvement going out in trip. He's been about for a little while, but I think that Founder 50 at 11-2, I can only see him shortening up. And I think if someone's going to take the title off of Envoy Land, it's going to be Gordon Elliott and it's going to be Founder 50.
I'm so pleased that you said that, because I was wondering when the decks came through and he was still at 6-1, I was like, what am I missing here? He's shortened up only to 11-2, admittedly, but I'm going to be fascinated to see, because he just feels like the horse you want to take a chance with against the favourite in this race. And dare I say it, he almost looks the most solid. So I'm glad that you said that, because I was wondering what I was potentially missing in here. Andrew, you're going to join us with Founder 50?
Yes and no. Forecast time again, Envoy Alan and Founder 50. So Founder 50, as Dave's saying, the 4 longest trips he's encountered have produced form figures of first, second to Iron Maximus when outstayed in Grade 1 Novice Company at Fairy House on soft ground back in late 2023. So he's worth a try at 3 miles, I think, for the first time. Envoy Orlando, as you said, he's 3 runs in this race have produced 2 wins and a next second. The next second came after he'd had a recent run. The twice he's running this race on his seasonal debut, he's won. It's been off for 233 days. I think cliche time. This is his Gold Cup, so it'll be laid out for this completely again. So I'll go Envoy Alan and Gordon Elliott's Founder 50 to chase him home. So yeah, 2-1, 11-2, be a nice forecast around about 10-12 quid if those prices stay as they are.
Yeah, well, at least you kind of half sided with us, I guess, then, for all that you still fancy Envoy Ellen. As you say, this is his Gold Cup there, but Dave and I firmly found a 50 to dethrone him in this one. 2:57 now. This is a Wetherby, the Grade 2 Charlie Hall chase for the 5-year-olds and over 3 miles. Always a fascinating affair. Of course, we've got a smaller field of the 6 runners in this one, and it is Protectorat who heads away at 5-2, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm going to play the age angle here. In the last 10 Charlie Halls, horses aged 10 or older are 0 from 14. You'd have expected at least 2 winners based on the prices they went off at. Recent flops include Q Card, 3rd at 11-8 on in 2016. Coney Green was pulled up with 7-4 for the following year, and Conflated was only 5th with a 7-2 shot last year. So the early market is dominated by the veterans. So I think it might be worth looking sort of further down the markets. And J-Lo is again another qualifier on the Venetia Williams chases in November angle. And his seasonal debut record, if you include his French run, is first and second, 3 wins from 4 starts. Galore or GA Law, I always thought it was a spin-off series related to LA Law when they first ran this horse. So
from Georgia.
GA Law. But yeah, the trip has got to be a worry for this one, of course. Gavin Sheehan rides Uick instead. So the real whacker. I know last year's form wasn't super solid. From beating Braveman's game, he didn't win again since. But he won it well enough last year. He wears cheap pieces for the first time. That could help him to bounce back. He hasn't won since. So yeah, I'll go J-Lo over the real whacker. And
okay,
go for relative youth against the old boys.
Yeah, there are a fair few old boys in here. Like I say, it's relative youth all the same, but the 3 10-year-olds are currently heading the way here. Protectorat, Hewitt, and Pick Dory, all age 10 in here, Dave. So you're siding with one of the old boys or one of the younger guard?
Well, I wanted to be like Andrew, don't we all? I wanted to go for a younger horse in here, but Jello's been one of these horses, not even like a Marmite horse. I don't even know what the phrase would be for it, but I can never get him right. And there's some good judges in the past that when he ran against Protectorat, when they went right-handed at Huntingdon, was it the rearranged Peterborough Chase or was it the actual Peterborough Chase? Everyone was saying to me that his best form figures are right-handed and he's a very good horse there and that he would beat Protectorat. Protectorat's bad that way around. I just couldn't have it, and obviously they were completely right and I was completely wrong. Then they ran against each other. Was it the Fleur de Lis at Windsor? And then Protectorat battered him. Going the other way round, but then Jello beat Hitman, who's obviously come out and won an old roan as well, so form boost there. But that was at Newbury. And I don't think Jello has to go like right-handed to show's best. So I think he's got a bit of a chance. Oh, is it there? A bit of a chance. He's definitely got a good chance in here as well. But yeah, I don't feel like I could ever get on that Jello on the right terms. So I'm probably going to tip another loser in the Charlie Hall. I was really keen on Brave Man's Game last year, who was Bridle Man's Game, wasn't he, once again, and just didn't get the job done. So the real whacker's got his obvious chance, but he's carrying £6 more this time round. And as much as the 10-year-olds haven't won it since 2004, and Andrew's correctly mentioned some good names that have been beaten in here, you look at Protectorat and Hewitt specifically, because they're getting £6 from 2 of the 3 of the younger horses. And Protectorat is a 3-miler. He won that Betfair Chase, didn't he, first time up? He's been 3rd in the Gold Cup in the past. And I know he's won a Ryanair and he's chased home John Bond last time, but he's just not as quick as he used to be. My concern with him not being as quick as he used to be, because he's an older horse now, is he used to be good fresh. He was 2nd in the Paddy Power Gold Cup as well behind Midnight Shadow, but his recent sort of comeback runs have been poor. And I think they'll have other aims for him. This is just a good place to start off, because why wouldn't you? So I'm tempered enthusiasm with Protector at the price it is. If he was 5-1 instead of 5-2, I'd like to back him, but that's easy for everyone to say. Hewitt is a King George winner, though, on good ground. And when Envoy won that champion chase last year, Hewitt was only half a length behind. They've sent the horse over here instead. Obviously, it is on paper an easy race, and it is a grade 2 rather than a grade 1. The conditions over in Down Royal, I think, would have been fine for Hewitt to go and have another tilt there. So you got that close in a grade 1 at home. You think maybe they would just stay there, but it's a good reason to come over here, I think. The ground's going to suit. It is that easy race. He gets the £6 put in it, rather than it being a grade 1 where we'd have to run off the top weights. So I think Hewitt's coming here with intentions. Had a prep run that's worked out quite nicely for the horse in the past. And then if you look at his form with the word good in the description, so rather than good to stop, it would have to be like good to yield in. His form since that King George, and including the King George, a first, third, second, first. 2 of those defeats came behind Fast or Slow and Galloping de Champ in Punchestown in the Gold Cup, and 1 was behind Envoy in that Down Royal Champion chase. So I think Hewitt's got proper grade 1 form in there, and as much as he was a bit of a gimmicky horse, I think he's just a very, very good horse. Those positive form figures, though, you can spin him another way, because they're right-handed. When he's gone left, Leopardstown, he's been poor behind them, but he's been poor behind like a Galloping de Champ. He did win the American Grand National at Far Hills. That's predominantly left, isn't it? And he's got good form at Oitoy going left as well. So I don't think the direction is a problem for him. I think the flat track will suit him. I think Hewitt probably warrants favouritism, and I can see him getting nibbled. So he would be the one that I would side with. But it's definitely one of these Charlie Hall chases where I wouldn't have as much confidence as I did last year, because I got bitten and I made a mistake there. But I think Hewitt is the right play in this race. Like I say, it looks like a sign of intent that they've dodged Down Royal to come here instead.
Yeah, he's hoping so, isn't it? Because he is just the ultimate fan favourite, isn't he, Hewitt? And now at the age of 10, but hopefully there is still plenty more left to come from him yet. The 310 at Ascot, it's a handicap hurdle for the 3-year-olds and older, over 2 miles. Well, just shy of 2 miles technically. Alexei, it is, who heads away here as the 7-2 favourite. But this looks another bit of a tricky one, Dave.
It does look like a bit of a tricky one as well. And we talked about favourites like Hewitt. Move It Like Minnie's a horse that I've made a case for loads of times. Absolute nutball, isn't he? But he's definitely better than his mark. Got smashed into favouritism against Washington last time out in that sort of veterans hurdle race they do at Chepstow. Washington was ridden, not aggressively, but was ridden like he couldn't lose in the race last year. And I mean couldn't lose as in they had to try really hard to get him to win, but the money was down. I think he went over to Fairyhouse and picked up a handicap as well. And then he did win at Chepstow again this season. So Washington, although he's an older horse, you know, they seem to be getting the best out of him, but this is a quicker turnaround than last year. Move It Like Minnie was favourite against that horse last time out. So the 15-2 for Move It Like Minnie with a claimer on board versus the 4 or 5 to 1 at Washington. I'm adamant that form will be reversed. But he just doesn't like winning. And normally when I put him up as an each way bet, especially when there's 4 places up for grabs in here with 12 runners, he'd be about 16 or 20 to 1 shot. He's obviously not that. So I'd leave him alone for all that. This will be Sod's Law the day that he pops up, you know, this weekend after Hitman's finally won a race too. But I was impressed with Alexei in the Welsh champion hurdle. Sort of a bit of a fact-finding mission with that horse. Could have come from Germany, run a couple of times at Taunton on very fast ground at the start of last season and looked like a pretty good horse. I touched on that Sydney Bank Memorial at Huntingdon where a couple of horses maybe forward, and I think Alexei was quite a way behind in that race. So I wondered whether maybe the horse just wasn't as good as I thought he was. But that Welsh champion hurdle second looked like a good effort. If he'd have jumped the last a bit cleaner, maybe he would have got close to the winner, but I don't think he would have won. But it's an unchanged mark. This isn't a Welsh champion hurdle. This is a much easier contest. And both those wins at Taunton on fast ground are going this way round too. So I think Alexi deserves to be favourite. 7-2 doesn't look terrible. And especially when I say about the fact there's 4 places up for grabs, he'd be the type of horse that I'd have a little bit of a small stakes, but each way play on him, because I can't see how he's out the frame. And I think he probably wins this.
Yeah, in a tricky contest when you know that there's a horse of ability in there and you can get that sort of a price about him, it's just better to play it with a straight back then, isn't it? 7-2 the field, Andrew, for you to go at.
Yeah, interesting race stats wise. All 10 of the last winners were in the top 6 in the weights. And if you bet all the qualifiers, you'd have made a profit of over £20 to a £1 level stake at SP. Wasn't keen on No Ordinary Joe. The top weight, Betty, I can make a case for. Ben Clark's runners are going particularly well. This one's very consistent, is effective here, has had a wind operation since we last saw her. I think I've tipped her up each way on this pod once or twice before. Washington I didn't like because he's coming back to the track too soon for me, 20 days since that Chepstow win. Now, he's had 6 goes when he's been returned to the track 5 weeks or sooner since his last race. He's lost every single time. Given more than 5 weeks off the track, he's won 7 from 13. So it's only his second run of the season. He could still be relatively fresh because it wasn't, a particularly hard race last time. But at the prices, I could take him on. Alexi, everyone I know keeps speed figures. Has been raving about this horse for a while now. But he has been beaten now on his last 3 starts. The kind of one I wouldn't mind backing each way. The best of the closers when runner-up to Celtic Dino in the Welsh Champion hurdle. It's 7-2. I'm not too bothered about. Affadil, we know, is a horse who peaks in February, usually at Musselburgh for the Scottish Champion hurdle. But he did run well in this race last season, finishing 4th at 12-1. I think he's £5 or £6 lower this time around. Had a wind operation since we last saw him, so don't be surprised to see Affadil finished 3rd or 4th. Wouldn't put you off that one each way if you're getting those extra places. But although he's just out of the sort of sweet spot of the top 6 in the weights, I'm going for number 7, Porrent. My old mucker, who I was convinced was going to run a big race in the Fred Winter or the Triumph Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival last year. As it was, he didn't quite get into the Fred Winter. He then came here to Ascot and placed. He's just a horse you can back each way over 2 miles. He trips this sort of trip. He's finished in the first 3 every single time he's run. He returned at Chepstow. We finished 2nd at 13 to Gibbs Island at 22-1. So it's 20-1 again. Particularly if you can get that 4th place. You've got to back him each way here, and hopefully there'll be a strong place on. Didn't like Move It Like Mini. Sorry, Dave, just because of his 0 from 7 record above Class 3 level. He's just been too disappointing. As soon as he steps out of Class 4 grade, there's always seems to be an excuse. I can't have him. So Torrent each way. Betty, I shall bet each way as well.
Okay, a couple of nice prices as well, 20-1 and then at 9-1 for Betty. But yeah, Move It Like Mini, I do just always associate with you nowadays. And I'm excited to see the adventure you continue to go on with him, to be honest with you. It's a fun little narrative for us to be tracking along. Right, on to the 3:30 at Wetherby now, handicap hurdle for the 3-year-olds and over 2 miles. Don't mind if I do for that Saturday man. Alan King it is who heads away in this one at 7-2. So I'm so glad, Andrew, that we're going back to you for this one.
On the subject of Alan King, in 6 minutes' time, I'll put one of his up at Stratford, Grandeur Dam, who goes.
You tipped so many of his.
Yeah, 2 points win at 11-4 is now 5-1 on Betfair, so that's probably not going to be winning. But yeah, this race has been a good one for favourites in the last 10 years. You back the market leader, you'd have found 5 winners and made a profit of £6.38. 9 of the last 10 winners were ridden patiently in their prep race. That brings in Don't Mind If I Do again. But this is a hurdler trained by Alan King on a Saturday, so it gets the stripe from me. I'll be moving on. Inappropriate was half interesting. Didn't run particularly well last time. That was on the flat 15 days ago over 1.5 miles at Newcastle, and that looked like a much needed run after wind surgery and has been sort of nibbled at big prices. So inappropriate for Jed O'Keefe as a possibility. But the one I preferred was nearer the head of the betting. Second favourite, 5-1 at the time of recording. Pure gold for Lisa Harrison, who has been in particularly good form of late. 3 wins and a second from his her last 4 starts. Tends to come from off the pace as well. So I'll take her to make it 4 from her last 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so we've got a good strike rate then at present as well. Dave?
I mean, this is one of the many races that I've looked at on Saturday where I thought, I don't really think I've got a strong opinion in it, but this is one that I think I might sit out a little bit just to make comment on a couple of horses. Obviously, the Alan King Saturday train runner. Don't mind if I do. There's a few horses that Alan King over the years will talk like quite highly of, or will talk in a certain tone. This is one of those horses. I think he said he was like quite a big horse, and he's like, I guess he's like a future chaser. So he's starting out this season in another handicap, isn't he? But this is handicap debut, so maybe a bit of a fact finding mission with him. But ran him in all right races before, and I say all right races just that there were some all right names in there. The horse was quite a short price for it, so I can see why he's short for handicap debut. But those runs always came with some good, like some ease in the ground, and twice in the spring was a non-runner unsuitable ground on good, and then another time when it was good to soft. I think he might mind him for Saturday. If he does decide to run him, it might be the case if he gets beat and they go chasing him after, I'd be interested. So whether he features on another ITV Saturday race, and I don't know, but I think Don't Mind If I Do is a horse to keep an eye on for the rest of the season anyway.
Okay, so just a horse, like I say, to keep an eye on them for the rest of the season, and there's going to be loads of those this weekend, isn't there? Now we move back to Ascot for the 3:45. The Sodexo Live Gold Cup Handicap Chase, Premier Handicap, 4-year-olds and over 3 miles. Another super competitive race. Always look forward to this one, Dave. And, well, mainly I look forward to getting to say the race title, because it's one of the very few that has an exclamation mark in it. But all the same, looking forward to the race itself. And again, super competitive.
Yeah, it really is. And again, it's the classic Ascot this time of year, where you've got this time of year type horses. You've got nice ground. You've got horses that he's going to jump this way round. So lots of familiar faces. And like you say with the name, not only has it got an exclamation mark, but it doesn't change every 2 weeks like it does at Cheltenham as well. So that's always good.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of familiar faces in here, and a couple of like my favourites as well in here. The Changing Man last year, I thought, still ran really well in the Ultima. Maya Town snuck in at the bottom and ruined that party for me and anyone that followed me in. But only a couple of pounds higher now, I think he is. And I thought he's run in Ascot, where it was a novices chasing at the Reynoldstown, where horses didn't really run to their level. There was horses that fell and unseated, or it was only a small field anyway, but he battered them, and I'm still convinced that's good form. I followed him in at Aintree. I know it was a step up in class to running in Grade 1, and he wasn't really very good, but he was very good round here. I still think there's some mileage in his mark, and while he used to be a little bit, I guess, untrustworthy with his jumping, especially at the start of the season when he was fresh. He fell last year, didn't he, or unseated when he was still travelling quite fine. I think he's going to go really, really well in this race. So the Changing Man's a definite selection in here. Marble Sands is another one of my sort of favourite horses. He's been very well backed since final decks as well. Like top prize 8-1 now, but as short as 11-2. There's an interesting form line with these two horses in the rehearsal chase last season. The Changing Man was a full 16 lengths in front of Marble Sands, but there's a £16 swing between the two of them. So if you did your pound and lengths, then we'll say that they're about the same. But Marble Sands just doesn't have the stamina-laden form that the Changing Man does. And when I can see 7-2 about the Changing Man for a horse that I know gets this trip, I know loves it round here, and as far as I'm concerned, is a well-handicapped horse, the 11-2 about Marble Sands just doesn't look appetizing at all. So it will definitely be the Changing Man for me in this race. But there's a load of horses that, again, I'll keep an eye on for the rest of the season. There's probably a load of horses as well that I haven't even mentioned that have probably got a bit of a chance in this.
Oh, loads of horses with chances, but the Changing Man you are firmly with in this one, but notebooks at the ready yet again. I say horses with plenty of chances. Baloo, who we were speaking about earlier on in relation to the Novices Limited handicap chase, goes into this one. Of course, he's properly against the open company nowadays, and it's a nice price as well. But Andrew, who did you like?
You've got about the Changing Man, but only to finish second. Why you'd want to take 7-2 about him to win when he's won one from his last 18 starts, and that was in the Reynoldstown when Django Bay, the odds-on favourite, fell. So if that one had stood up, you'd be looking at a horse who hasn't run for 18 starts, but it's finished second about 12 times in that period. So yeah, he'll finish second again, I think. The one to back is Neon Moon for the Pipe Yard. He did. I tipped him off my column when he won on his reappearance at Chepstow last October. He's £6 lower for his reappearance this time. He missed Chepstow due to the firm ground. He also won a first time out in 2023-24. I think he's going to run a really big race here. Could do with a bit of rain, that would help. Henry's Friend, I wasn't keen on. He's got a poor record in big fields, 10 or more runners. He's not finished in the first 4 from 4 starts and 6 from 12 in single figure lineups. Good races, but I think you've got a favourite worth taking on. A sort of joint third favourite you could oppose Henry's Friend. Marble Sand's got a great record right-handed, so he'd have a chance as well. But I think Neon Moon's a cracking bet for this.
Oh, cracking bet as well. So both of you two were strong opinions in this one and taking each other on as well. But Neon Moon 15-2 as the top price. Right, we have relatively rattled, well, not relatively, we have pretty much rattled through then the domestic action, but of course we do have 3 televised races from Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup on Saturday night. The 9:01 is the Breeders' Cup Distaff, the 9:41 is the Breeders' Cup Turf, 10:25 Breeders' Cup Classic. So Andrew, I'm not sure if you've managed to have a look at any of these races yet.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going to clock in my overtime card and then put it in there. So we're on time.
I ain't paying it, so it's fine.
The Distaff. I thought another pace collapse was possible, like when this race was run here at Del Mar in 2021. The winner was 50-1 that day. The runner-up ran about 12-1, and they were the 2 who had drawn widest of all, stores 10 of 11 in an 11-runner field. Now, Skilla is yet to win away from Churchill Downs, but she has run well in her 2 visits here, and the race was not run to suit her at Keeneland last time. So I thought, given the amount of pace in this race, it's just possible they could go too fast and set it up for a closer. They didn't last year, so the other time it was run at Del Mar, but that was the winner made all. But Regaled is another one who's quite interesting as well. Up to Grade 1 company for the first time, but she'll appreciate the out-and-out gallop, and stall 13 she could be swooping late and wide. So my idea was just to hope they go too quick. Skylar, Skillar and Regaled each way around about sort of 20-25-1 at the moment could be the ones to go with.
Yeah, nice price as well. I really did not expect you to be coming up with anything for that, but there you go then. So a couple of big
surprises.
And good way to play it for Andrew as well. Dave, you managed to look at anything from Del Mar?
Yeah, I have not the Distaff though. Andrew can give us the winner of those couple. I mean, the other couple of races, because they are good races, they're always interesting. The Breeders' Cup Turf looks interesting just for the fact that Minnie Hawk was unlucky in the I say unlucky, she's only been beaten ahead, isn't she? So she's short enough, 11-10. I expect her and I want her to go and see her win, but I don't think I'd be betting in there. Charlie Appleby was in an interview with Matt Chapman earlier this week saying that El Cordobes was a big price and thought he could run well. He's 25-1, so I'm just recycling that bit of information. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to watching that because I think Minnie Hawk will win. In the Breeders' Club Classic, though, I'm excited to watch this one, but I think I probably will have a bet in this one because Sierra Leone, I've got a feeling, Kate, you were really keen on this horse for the race last year, maybe?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, and I watched the replay back. I mean, I've watched it a couple of times, but I watched it again back recently and just look at it. And as much as Forever Young's like a little bit of a, I don't want to say a roguey horse, but like gets outpaced, stays on, especially when we talk about these classes of races. Sierra Leone just looks so straightforward, drawn in 7 this time, so potentially could be on the outside again, but sweeping on the outside last time paid dividends. Form going into this renewal compared to last year is the same, but probably I think on paper a little bit better in what the horse has actually done in terms of figures. 3-1 joint favourites for the fact that Sovereignty, wasn't it? It was like the sure thing for this race, or the one that everyone fancied. It's not here, so it's the first 3 from last year that are in the first 3 in the betting. I've got no reason to think why they wouldn't finish in any other order. Although that said, I think Forever Young could probably topple Fierceness. So Sierra Leone at 3-1. Now of everything that's changed, will definitely be a bet for me at Del Mar, but I think that'll probably be my only bet at Del Mar.
Yeah, the only one at Del Mar. But going to the Classic, like it a lot. Like you say, it's all been thrown up into the air. Sovereignty coming out, who looks, well, not a sure thing as such, clearly, but with that fever that has now ruled him out, it has opened it up and then some. Well done, lads. That was great. I did not expect much from you for the Breeders' Cup, so nicely done. Really looking forward to watching that. Now, your nap. No, anything from anywhere else first I should go to, because I actually almost forgot, because it feels like we've covered everything, Dave. But have you got anything?
No, I haven't had a chance to look for anywhere else, but there is so much good action this whole weekend, even on over in Carlisle on Sunday. This is the proper start of the jump season, isn't it? So thick and fast, nothing from anywhere else this week, but hopefully ITV don't keep putting a dozen races on and we can find some more each week from going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, it doesn't help us. Well, it's fine for me, but it doesn't help you guys out whatsoever, does it, in terms of your prep time with these blockbuster schedules? But Andrew, have you got anything from anywhere else?
No, I did have a little look at the Breeders' Cup turf, and did think Baiza, who has got no sovereignty to take on this time, having finished third to that one, the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont Stakes, and second to the same rival in the Jim Dandy, went over 9 lengths clear of the third. So he might, won his Grade 1 last time when he didn't have sovereignty to face in the Pennsylvania Derby at Park. So yeah, I think Baiza, what is he, about 10 to 1 or something like that, might be each way play in the Breeders' Cup turf.
In the Classic.
Sorry, in the Classic. Yeah, sorry.
No bother. No worries. I have questioned myself for a second whether or not he's changed our disciplines, but yeah, for sure there. So nicely done for the Breeders' Cup selections from the lads. Right, Andrew, I'll go back to you, please, for your nap of this weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I was going to tip Torrent each way or Neon Moon, but after listening much to myself waffle on about Neon Moon and mention strong bet, I think I have to go for him in the 3:45 at Ascot.
Nicely done. There you go then, but basically sort of gave us two at the same time there. Dave, your own nap.
I'm going to be going for the Grade 1. I'm going to go for Found a 50. He's been like a phenomenal record on his first run for each season, unexposed at the trip. I think he's going to be the new kid on the block for the champion chase.
Oh, he stole my selection there. I was going to stick up a nap for the safer, so I will gladly let you have Found a 50 in this one. I am also interested in Master and Baloo for what it is worth. But yeah, rowing in though with Found a 50 with Dave. But loads of action to go at this weekend. That's a big thank you to the Pair of Beauty for all of your hard work. A big thank you to you for watching. Again, as I said at the top of the show, our National Hunt Preview special show will be going live on Sunday. Members will be able to get it first before everyone else, but really looking forward to that because the three of us had a really, really enjoyable time. Hopefully we've given you some pointers ahead to the National Hunt season. But for this weekend, that is everything from the three of us. Best of luck, and we'll speak to you again next week.